want to move on to another HBO show, though. The Leftovers. Wrapped up. It was its third and final season. So, Damon Lindelof, if you don't know who he is, he was the producer and creator of Lost. If you listen to the Watch Pod, which I know Dave and I both listen to, he's been on that quite a lot frequently.
He's doing a lot of press.
A lot recently. Yeah, and this show, first season, we talked about it when it was third season starting off. First season got a lot of mixed reviews. Some people liked it. Some people thought it was a little too dark and twisted and not really moving at a good pace. Second season, lauded as one of the better seasons of TV people can remember, and this is in peak TV, so it means it was pretty good. Third season, a lot of expectations. Dave, did you watch?
I haven't started the show still.
I have to say,
I want to. I'm planning on, once I catch up on those shows, that and Twin Peaks are probably my summer catch-ups.
Yeah. Twin Peaks is now on Netflix, so I definitely have to catch up on that. So
yeah. Smart buy on Netflix.
I have to get through Fargo, and I say get through. It's still really good, but just one of it's not as good as the second season, basically at this point for me. But then I'm gonna try to finish Twin Peaks before Game of Thrones comes back on, because at that point I'm probably just gonna be lost in the sauce.
I mean, with Mr. Robot not coming back to the fall, and Stranger Things not coming back to the fall, am I watching any summer shows besides Game of Thrones? From July and August, what else am I watching?
Interesting.
There's nothing else on, I think.
Yeah,
everything came out in fucking April.
Maybe that will be a good time to catch up on some of these things. Peak TV.
Because you're watching Game of Thrones on Sunday, then you have another 6 days.
Peak TV, maybe not so peak in the summertime. Spring it was peak. Summer, a little less peak. Anyways, moving back to Leftovers. So just to kind of give a little bit of a recap, I'm going to try to be as spoiler-free as I can for this.
Appreciate that.
Basically, there were a lot of expectations coming into this. The second season went into a very spiritual realm, which had one of the probably people's favorite episodes was called International Assassin, where Kevin Garvey, the main character, goes into the afterlife or whatever that space is, and he's able to interact in there. So coming into the third season, people were like, how is that going to come back? How are all these people going to interact? And the third season basically centered around the 7-year anniversary of the 2% of the world's population leaving, and that was basically what led up to the penultimate episode, which I thought was actually a really great choice, because the way that they resolved that and then left the last episode, the season finale, was it was really smart, because it pretty much wrapped up a lot of the underlying larger picture questions, what's going on with the afterlife, how does this kind of play into what's happening, the 2% leaving, how is the 7-year anniversary going to fall into this, and all this these speculation, rumors, theories. And then the last episode, they were able to focus on what the show was really about the whole time.
Which is closure?
Yeah, you got a lot of closure, and it really just focused on how people deal with grief, and how people are basically broken from all these things that happen to them, and how they find grace and closure and salvation within all of it. So it was really wonderful. And
is Carrie Coon getting 2 Emmy nominations next Emmys?
It would be cool if Leftovers did. I don't know if Fargo...
There's good think pieces about her.
I don't know if Fargo's been good enough this season, to be honest.
Yeah, I have to catch up still. I've seen the first 3.
I think I was through episode 5 or 6 and been a little... Not... I mean, she's been good in it, but I don't know if she's been worthy.
Yeah, she'd be competing with Big Little Lies and stuff. There's a lot of...
I could see it for this, though, because especially in this last episode, she is basically given the ball and said, Carrie, you need to wrap up this season for us. And she does a great job. It's her and Justin Theroux. Basically, the whole episode centers around them, and definitely very emotionally evoking. And I forgot to write down the director's name, but some of the shots that she chose and some of the ways that they decided to let moments linger really were wonderful, and just the symbolism and the metaphors within the final episode really wrapped up the series really well. So
that's good.
Shout out Damon Lindelof. He really took a show that was very controversial and kind of put down the first season and made it a classic. I mean, HBO will be able to pimp this stuff forever.
So it's pretty clearly better than Lost.
Oh, well, right? Especially for the ending is a lot better than Lost. I think for a series whole, Lost probably captured the public more, especially the first 3 seasons.
Yeah, because it was kind of pre-internet.
Yeah, it was pre-internet.
It was kind of the onset of the water cooler
was
discussion for TV.
Yeah, it was basically like the starting off of it. And Lindelof even says like some of the stuff people were talking about as storyboards, some of the theories they had affected how they made the show for Lost.
Like Westworld.
Yeah, exactly. So, in a sense, like, I think Lost was a much more popular and more engaging show, but I think this was a much more well-made and a show that made more sense by the end. So, it's really creative. Like, although Lindelof on The Watch kind of said, like, I'm glad I didn't watch the season of Twin Peaks before I did this season because I would have just had to crawl in a corner and cry because I could never make anything that good. But they really did some really creative choices and touched on some really meaningful topics I think people can really relate to. So check out Leftovers. Started from the beginning. First season I know is not as good, but it will really make you appreciate how far the show comes, I think.